Hello and welcome to an update of the Perionyx only bin and the Red Wiggler only bin. We'll start off our update with the Perionyx bin. And if you recall from last week, I said that I am preparing these bins for harvest. So I have just the regular newspaper covering it. And I am feeding one side so the worms can migrate out of the finished castings into one side of the bin, leaving me with basically worm-free material. And meanwhile, this stuff is just beautiful and can easily be sifted out once I know the worms are out, at least the majority of them, and I can see that it is definitely happening. There are less and less worms here as I'm turning the material over, but you can see how very, very worked over it is compared to right here where we have our fresh food and bedding. So just give it a slight turnover, and now we can check and see what our guys did with the corn. Now, I'm not going to feed them today because I know the corn that I put in here last week will last for another week, but it will give us an awesome, awesome worm bowl. There's just something about starchy things. Oh yeah. Can you see that? Look at how fast these guys are moving. Yeah, this is all worms. Beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, these guys love corn, and you can see how much of the corn is still left. That's why I say this is one of my favorite foods to put in a bin when you guys go on vacation, because it's slow to break down, but it's really great food source for them, because it builds up microbes and they just go crazy for it. So you can see the majority of them are in here. We're gonna bury this back up, leave it alone, but I wanted to show you what a wonderful, wonderful job that corn is doing to attract the worms to that side. I'm gonna check my gloves to make sure that all the babies are off, because the babies are tiny. And I'm going to move over to the Red Wiggler only bin. So here are the Red Wigglers, same 10-gallon bin, same newspaper, just keeping things nice and dark for them and letting plenty of air into the bin. And so I marked the area where we fed the corn. And meanwhile, oh, this stuff is just, oh, it's ready to sift. Just ready to sift. Perfect consistency. So I'm just going to give it a light fluffing up. And you can see there are definitely some worms still in here, but there's a lot of babies in here too, plus cocoons. And you have to be patient if you want to get the majority of the cocoons to hatch and make their way over to the area where you're feeding. It does take time, so can't rush these things. So let's see how the Red Wigglers have done. Oh yeah, you can see all of these guys in here. Tons and tons of babies. They're right underneath. Here they are. Yeah, they're inside, way, way, way inside. Oh wow, tons of babies, just a ton of babies. So they made their way completely inside. And of course, there are more worms here on this side. But isn't it interesting? There's a lot less activity on this side as far as the worm ball compared to the Perionyx bin. But I'm happy with them. I know they're moving because I can see a lot less worms than the other side. But you can see, guys, this is all babies, just everywhere. So as they hatch, they make their way quickly towards this yumminess. So let us just bury this back up. A lot of babies. Have to be really careful because they get on your gloves. You can't even spot them sometimes. Okay, so you can see that there's definitely plenty of food in here. And we're going to leave this alone. But I'm thinking that this material is ready to sift. And I think that I'm going to do just that. I'm going to sift this, get any worms and cocoons that are left in here. I'm going to move them back in here, and then I'll just fill up the bin again with new material. So let me do that. So I think you remember my sifter basket. I got this in Office Depot, I think, just 10, 12 bucks, I don't remember already. But it has really nice small holes. And since I'm doing this with one hand, I just want to show you what I do typically if you haven't seen my videos before. So I'll take a couple of handfuls. I know I've got worms in there, so, and oops, typically I do this on the floor, but, and then I just take this mortar tray and just sift it out into the tray. It's very hard to do this with one hand, but we'll do our best. So we just sift it, sift it, sift it, sift it. And because of the wonderful condition that it's in, the majority of it goes right through. And you can see right here that it catches the worms and any remaining material that hasn't been composted. And then I can just dump it all on the side that I'm feeding and repeat the process. And meanwhile, this stuff right here is beautiful, flaky, moist, and I'm going to put this in my large 45-gallon bin. That's where I keep my castings. I keep them nice and moist, but with plenty of air, and just use them when I need to. So let me finish harvesting. It should probably take me no time at all, and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so that took me all of 20 minutes, and even that was because I'm anal about removing every single worm that I find. So all I did here was I wetted down some shredded cardboard and paper. So it's nice and moist. I'm putting it on this side. I don't need to add anything else because this is an existing bin, therefore there's plenty of microbial activity in here. And the worms will eventually make their way into that material. I'm not in a hurry, and they still have that corn in here, so obviously I'm not going to feed them, but that was very easy. I didn't expect to do harvest today, but it takes me no time, so it's quite easy to do that. So these guys are done, basically, and we'll put them back. And meanwhile, in here, I just got a beautiful, flaky, amazing castings. And I may go outside, take it in the sunlight, just to get a quick look over to see if I missed any cocoons. But the worms, the larger worms especially, they're all back in the bin. And I love doing it this way because It takes no time at all. You know, because my castings are consistently the same quality, they are not wet, so I don't have to worry about airing or drying them out and baiting out the worms while I dry out the castings, and it just works better for me. Now I'm done. I'll take this, put it in my 45-gallon bin, and just use it when I need it. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.